Hey everybody, Jacob with Scooters Lawn Care, and today I want to talk about debt. With that being said, everybody, happy 4th of July. Hope everyone's having a great day today. Hope everyone's enjoying it with their families, getting to at least take a little bit of time off and enjoy the beautiful weather. So now to the bulk of this, like I said, want to talk about debt today. I want to keep continuing to kind of talk about growing your business, whether it be you're just solo and you want to grow it to where you want it to be, or you want to be really big. I want to take from my experience and pass that along. And if anyone's got any comments on anything they've experienced that can help, throw it in there. Would love to see it, and it just helps the conversation as a whole. But anyway, so the first part of the debt conversation I want to talk about is my own personal experience, what we've done, how we've used some debt, and the way we've used debt is mainly borrowing for equipment. You know, I like to keep everything to a minimum. I'm not a big debt advocate, but do I think that it can help your business grow? Yes. But my personal experience says be very careful with it. I've always maintained a really high credit score, and I know that gives me leverage to get money if I need it, but I don't want to necessarily use it for everything. So in my personal experience, we've bought mowers on credit, and I think we've got a couple truck loans here and there, and you know, the only time I ever borrowed money that wasn't for something was an accidental unsecured truck loan that I never ended up getting the truck, and we used the money for other equipment anyway. But other than that, you know, like I said, I've kept it to a minimum. We've bought every truck we have with cash other than my brand new truck. Bought all small equipment. If it's, you know, $2,000, $3,000 and under, it was bought with cash for sure. So a lot of time just accumulating things, small equipment with cash. But we did buy our ditch witch with credit, like I said, a couple mowers with credit, and the brand new truck. So our personal experiences, it has been really good. It has helped us. Last year we bought two 52s, and I was like, man, do we really need them? But I knew how aggressive I was pushing to grow, and it ended up being that if we wouldn't have bought those two 52s, we wouldn't even been able to get the work done. So it really helped. As far as other things, ditch witch, you know, at first we needed it, we really wanted it, and, you know, I fought with the decision. Do we get it? Do we get it? Do we get it? And then I bit the bullet, I got it, and man, the thing gets ran 4 days a week. If not at the shop, at the shop it gets ran every day. Out on the job, you know, at least it seems like 4 days a week now, and I couldn't imagine life without it. So the loans have helped us do a lot of good things, have helped us really get where we're going. So that is my personal experience. Then I want to break this off into two different things with my next couple parts of this. I want to talk about funding a business. This is where I think it is really touchy ground to fund a business with credit. So, you know, you always hear of a startup borrowing money or getting venture capital and using that to get the ball rolling. A lot of times when people go out and do that, they know a lot about their business. They're extremely business savvy. They've got a business plan to put that money to use, and have proof of when it's going to start showing a profit. Like, you know, they know these increments, that's what's going to happen. So I personally feel in our business, with a lot of guys starting off how I did with a push mower and blower, to go out there and borrow money with nothing backing it, you know, how I mean that is, you know, if you borrow money just for funding and just to pay guys and stuff, there's nothing backing that. If you ever get called on that and you have to pay that back like this, there's nothing they can take to get it. You have to pay that money. So I don't feel like borrowing money to get a business started. I feel like that's a horrible idea. If you're wanting capital, if you're starting small, because a lot of times when someone doesn't know a lot about the business and they're just going in, they're wanting to get started, you can take a big chunk of money, and when you don't know what you're doing, you can throw good money after a bad idea and just burn that cash, and then it's gone, and there's nothing to recoup that. The other thing I've seen is running large lines of credit to keep guys paid and to keep material bills going. I think that's a bad idea as well. I think that you should be out there, follow Jonathan Potochnit's use service autopilot or a program like it where you can be charging as you go. You know, we don't do we don't do 30-day term, people pay us. We charge as we go. Mowing gets charged the following week, everything we did the previous week. Big jobs, anything $1,000 to $10,000 is going to be 50% down, the other 50% on completion. And I think we're going to go for $10,000 to $20,000 jobs. Another great recommendation by a friend, Almond Landscapes, is to do more draws than just 2. And with that being said, so you do it either in thirds or in fourths. And the way I'm thinking I'll probably do it is 10 to 20 thirds. So you take a third to get it on the schedule, a third when you show up to start the job, and a third when you complete the job, you're walking off site, the final part's due. So as the job gets bigger, you're trying to break that down so they owe you very little at the end. I'm kind of trailing off, but those are all ways to make sure you're getting paid as the work is getting done to keep you out of having these massive lines of credits that you burn through. Also, doing prepays in the spring for services like any kind of lawn treatment packages that we do with all your treatments, your aeration, and your overseeding all as one. People can prepay for that, save 5%. So you can bring in a bunch of money off the get-go in the very beginning of the season and fund some of those startup fees a little easier. And like I said, all with the idea of not having to use a line of credit. We've never used a line of credit. We use credit cards. I think one's got a $5,000 limit. That's the only business card we've got. And, you'll get like $2,000 on it. Then I'll pay it almost all the way back down. And then it's just for the guys using all the different trucks, so it's easier to keep track of. But yeah, so funding for business, do not like it. There's nothing backing that. You have to sack up, and if they ever call your line or anything, you have to pay. And there's nothing to give away to fix that. Then the third portion of this that I want to talk about is equipment loans. Like I mentioned, in our experience, equipment loans have been great for our business. They've allowed us to get stuff that we didn't have, to do jobs we couldn't do or couldn't do efficiently. Still, with that being said, you need to be very careful. It is money that can help you, but it can also hurt you. You don't go out and buy all brand new mowers just because you started a business, your credit's good, and you can buy all brand new mowers. I'm a big advocate of everything we had till this truck I just bought, and it replaced our everyday driver, so it's more of a family vehicle anyway. Every vehicle we've bought has been used. I think my first truck ever I bought a long time ago. It's still running. Spent $2,600 on it. Our mow truck spent $2,000 on it. Our dump truck spent $2,800 on it. What else do we have? The diesel spent $5,000 on it. Great truck. It had very low miles. So I was able to spend all this in cash and not get buried in debt. And even if you're only taking loans for those little things, that stuff just piles up and piles up and piles up. And you really need to keep that to a minimum. So equipment loans being the third section of this, I do think that they're a very valid thing to use. You still need to use due diligence. Make sure you're not getting in over your head, and make sure that you can be using that piece of equipment. Don't go buy a $30,000 mini skidster or $80,000 skidster and have it sit at the shop 4 days a week. That's not smart. It's not a good way to borrow money and use it. You need to borrow money and then put it to work, or borrow money for equipment, and that equipment needs to go out in the field and start working. So the conclusion to this whole thing: do I think borrowing money is good? In some cases, yes. What does borrowing money do? It increases your stress. It increases your liability. Payments do not go away. Once you start making payments on a piece of equipment that you love and adore, and it just helps you do everything, that payment is there till you've paid it off. And that's the one thing to remember. You can get all this stuff and you can get rolling with a big head of steam. And if the work stops coming in the door, whatever the case may be, it can devastate you. It can break you. But at least with the equipment, you could give it back. It's going to ruin your credit, but at least with equipment, you can give it back. Lines of credit, scary business. I mean, if the business plan allots for it to be used, but you're talking people a lot smarter than me and a lot smarter than most of us doing business, having a business plan that was planned to be funded and planned to work in a certain amount of way and planned to start being profitable at this many days, this many months, whatever the case is. I am sure a lot of you guys haven't done that, and I haven't done that as, that strict of planning as well. But yes, use it at your own risk. Will it help your business? It can help tenfold. It can help you do things that you wouldn't have done before. So it's definitely a valid way to grow a business. Just be smart. Just be smart. Use due diligence. And if it's something you need really bad and you're going to use it, buy it. You don't have to think about it forever. You need to grow if you want to, and that's what you need to do. So everybody, this has been Jacob with Scooters Lawn Care. Have a great 4th. I know we're just about to have been smoking meat all day, and we're going to have a little get-together here at the shop. So enjoy your evenings. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good week. We got a short one. It's still time to kill it, though. See you guys. Bye.